It was quite a shock.
The crossover between some of these rallies on college campuses in favor of Hamas. I mean, they unite the weirdest coalitions maybe in human history. You'll see LGBTQ flags in favor of Hamas, where, of course, if an LGBTQ person were to be actually in the Gaza Strip, they would no longer be in the Gaza Strip, they would be dead.
Yes, exactly.
And that coalition is...
That's like seriously out of touch.
Yeah.
Hamas. And Musk is like, yeah, like how stupid they are. So yeah, I'm actually glad they said this, because this proves what we're saying, is that these are not pro-Hamas rallies. These are humans in solidarity with other humans facing something very atrocious. Ugly stuff has happened in human history, including the Holocaust. But I am very sure, and I am a student of history, not Musk, what is going on in Gaza today and in Palestine in general, but specifically Gaza, the open-air concentration camp, has never happened before. Never. Especially with the scale of destruction they experience every few years, and this has been the most destructive so far. So this is the culmination of it all. There has never been something like that in history. So when you see someone waving an LGBT flag in a protest, it says a lot about them. I don't want to open a side topic, but in general, LGBTQ people, not all of them, but those that love to display flags, they're like vegans. Whenever they meet you, within 5 minutes of the conversation, somehow they have to squeeze it in that they're a vegan or that they are LGBTQ. So they'll get their flags to the protest. That doesn't mean it decreases the protest's validity or authenticity, and it doesn't mean they're actually stupid people for actually supporting them. Because basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about, what they're trying to say is that Hamas, since it's an Islamist group and Islam is not tolerant towards homosexuality, they will probably get killed right away in Gaza. That's what they keep saying. So again, why would an LGBTQ person do that? Unless they're stupid like Musk is doing. Oh yeah, of course. No, they're actually there because they're supporting Palestine. Palestine as a state, as a nation, as a people suffering. And that's very honorable of them, regardless of what their sexual orientation is or their background. So they try to take what's going on the ground and shape it in a way that suits their sick narrative. But the reality is no, they keep getting exposed because they are so weak. They are so weak. Their narratives are weak. Their brains are weak. They're just pathetic people.
What do you make of the future of a West if the West continues to embrace that idea?
Well, I think we really need to stop this principle that the weaker, normally weaker party is always right. This is simply not true. If you are in quotes oppressed or the weaker party, it doesn't mean you're right. Because if some of those, weaker groups want to annihilate you, that does not make them good. We have to get rid of the rule that if you're weaker, you're automatically good. That's obviously makes no sense.
Okay, stop. I have to stop him here. Man to man, they are much stronger, and we've seen the performance of the fighters. So let's stop kidding ourselves. However, yes, army versus military group. Of course, Israel has tremendous firepower. Firepower, not troops. Firepower is tremendous, and we're seeing the level of destruction going on. In this case, yeah, the weaker party, which is Hamas, is actually the ones right, and the Palestinians. So what he's saying is true in isolation, but in this case, I don't even understand how is this happening, really. It's really sad to see Musk do this. Look at his hair even. His hair from here, it's like popping out from the yarmulke they made him wear. It even has the EGA's logo. Like this is merch now. Yarmulkes are supposed to be worn in synagogues, when you're going to do prayer. Why are they even making him wear it in Auschwitz? It's so strange. But you're gonna hear what he says.
You mentioned earlier, that you're aspirationally Jewish, that you surround yourself with, that you're surrounded by so many Jews. So, are you part of the Jewish conspiracy? What exactly is the?
Maybe.
That'll please the haters online.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
No, I mean,
aspirationally Jewish. So basically, Elon Musk went from this badass.
If somebody's gonna try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f*** yourself. But go yourself. Is that clear?
Yeah, it's very clear. What happened, tough guy? What happened? They completely emasculated him. So sad. This was a couple of months ago when he was facing issues. This is actually what triggered the whole thing, the Anti-Defamation League. It is a Jewish organization in the United States that's standing against anti-Semitism and all that. I hate using that term. It's supposedly protecting Jews, but it's a manipulation propaganda machine. And he got in trouble because of the stupid tweet he did. I'm going to show you the tweet. This is what got him into huge trouble with the Zionists. This guy is saying that this is something they love to push in right-wing circles, that the white population, there's a conspiracy to replace them with immigrants, and this is all being done by Jews, specifically Jews in the West. And all he said was, you have said the actual truth. And again, this is really stupid because yes, while they are in very key positions, to actually give authenticity to such a hateful tweet is not good, because if that guy doesn't just hate Jews as a blanket, he should have spoken about Zionism, he should have been more specific. But when you just say Jews, of course that will spread what they call anti-Semitism, which is again a stupid word. I'm going to make a specific episode just discussing this term, anti-Semitism, and why it's wrong and why we shouldn't use it. Anti-Judaism is fine, you know? Judeophobia, just like there's Islamophobia. So all he said was, you have said the actual truth. And he got in trouble with the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, and advertisers started withdrawing their deals from Twitter. They stopped advertising, specifically Disney and Apple. And that's why he said,
Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience, after he said to go fuck yourself, which is Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney. He went from this much cojones to microscopic.
It really has come completely full circle from, or 180 degrees from what has historically been the case. So through most of history, the operating principle has been might makes right. So yeah, really up until modern times, might makes right was if you were stronger, you were right. Now we've sort of flipped it to if you're weaker, you're right. But neither is true. There is rightness independent of strength or weakness. Just because somebody's strong doesn't mean they're right, and because somebody's weak doesn't mean they're right. You have to look at morals in the absolute.
Again, in isolation, yes, strength doesn't have anything to do with who's right or wrong. However, so-called student of history, no, it hasn't changed actually. And what's going on in the world shows us that might is going on unpunished. They have full impunity. Superpowers, bad people, big criminals, corrupt generals and leaders of countries. No one's getting punished. No one's getting touched. Nothing is happening to them. It's only the little guy that's eating shit all day. So let's stop kidding ourselves. Might, unfortunately, in this sick world, in this corrupt world system, is what's making right. And no one can deny that. They're just depressed and so butthurt, the Zionists, that, oh, the youth are changing their perception on Israel and the Middle East in general, and they're starting to realize that they've been lied to their whole lives, and there's much more to the story than what they're being told.
Elon, you talk a lot about your hope for humanity. I'd say that you're somebody who really loves humanity, which is why you talk about expanding humanity's...
Loves humanity, yeah. Yeah, loves humanity and lives by morals. We can see whom is he siding with. He has money, so much money. World's richest man. It's okay, bro. What's the worst they can do to you? You're gonna lose a few millions, a couple billion. So what? So what? Continue with what you were doing. I know he's not a perfect person, but for a while he was doing a lot of good stuff. But unfortunately, it turns out I wasn't right. This is a very morally corrupt person for doing what he's doing. What's the worst they could have done to him? Did they come at gunpoint and threaten his family? Come on. It's so low, so cheap. But again, this is business. This is the capitalist world. These are big tycoons. This is what they do. Don't expect from them heroic stuff. They didn't reach the top of the ladder of capitalism by being good people with high moral standards. So yeah, just do the math.
Unless we are indoctrinated otherwise. And so we have to stop that indoctrination.
So how do you think that people ought to pursue that? Because obviously we have seen indoctrination at a wide variety of levels, ranging from sort of soft indoctrination in various schools in the West to very, very hard indoctrination that you see in, for example, the Gaza Strip, where kids are literally, unfortunately, at very young ages, they have graduation ceremonies that we've seen tapes of where they're reenacting kidnapping of Israeli soldiers or killing of Israeli soldiers, for example.
Where is Ben Shapiro saying stuff like that? Seriously, where is he? Like, why doesn't he post such stuff? Talking out of his ass. Indoctrination. Yeah, they claimed also that they found Mein Kampf fully, like, within the rubble and destruction. Like, it was a full, perfect copy. No dust, no nothing on it, no damage, and it's like in Arabic. And look at the youth, they're reading Mein Kampf. Dani Hagari, the spokesperson of the IDF, the guy with the famous funny video, of the days of the week, calling him like the terrorists and their schedules. They are so exposed. I don't even understand. Whom are they catering to? Who's the idiot still listening to these people and their conspiratorial claims? They're the conspiracy theorists. They're the ones that are full of shit and they're reeking. And their day is coming for standing for all these atrocities, standing with evil, doing the devil's work on earth. Their day is coming. It could be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. It's coming and it's not long. It's not long. It's gonna come soon.
The education of kids in Gaza, the indoctrination of hate into kids in Gaza has to stop. So it's, when I was in Israel, I was like, that was my top recommendation, is that you've got to make sure, I understand the need for this, to invade Gaza, and unfortunately, some innocent people will die.
Wow, his top recommendation, but he understands the need of invasion. Wow, man, and some people have to die. This is the problem with these colonial mentality people. They talk about the Middle East and third world countries like it's like you're playing a video game. Everything is macro and from far away. Human life doesn't matter as much when they talk about their own neighborhood. It's really ugly. It feeds into all the stuff that Orientalism built early on of the late 19th century, early 20th century. And it's really sad. Even if we're to say it's indoctrination, fine. Why? Why does it exist? All of what Israel has been doing, and before them the British, since 1917, since that curse fell upon them of that invasion and taking of their land, the occupation, all the atrocities they've been through, all the hardships, the trials and tribulation they went through, what do you expect of them?
Well, when I look at the United States, one of the things that it seems to be breaking down, and when the first element historically, maybe the last element of a society in a state of mental decline, is a vast outbreak of anti-Semitism. This is what was happening in not only Nazi Germany, but historically, countries that are in a state of decline tend to have wild outbreaks of anti-Semitism. And it seems to me that one of the key things that can reverse that process is the rebuilding of local institutions. And as local institutions break down, you see sort of this fragmentation of the population at large.
This guy is despicable. Seriously. I don't know. Zionists, they look at Jews like they're this super rare panda that needs to be saved and taken care of, and like it's this super brilliant human being. They're just humans. Jews are humans like any other human. So for him, the climax of a society breaking down is that it starts experiencing mass outbreaks of anti-Semitism. Who says that? This is considered a super intellectual. A workhorse of intellectualism on the right. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. He's a pseudo-intellectual. And he became so famous and rich out of spewing bullshit all day. If you look at his channel, The Daily Wire, they say occasionally good stuff about family, and you have guys that work there that have said occasionally good stuff, but then they ruin it by saying a lot of hateful and disgusting stuff. And surprise, surprise, Jordan Peterson now works with them. It's been a year since. Lots of bigots. This guy is full of hate, and he just spews it all day, and then he tells you,
well, society is experiencing a lot of polarity these days. A lot of polarity, and it's breaking down society.
No, you're breaking down society. You're the asshole that keeps spewing this kind of stuff.
Obviously, where we visited today, the big takeaway always is never again. I think that the question that a lot of Jews worldwide asked after October 7th and after that wild upsurge of anti-Semitism, which we've seen, the Jew hatred that continues now, is whether never again really for a lot of people meant never again between the years 1939 and 1945, or whether it actually means never again, like right now, as in if there's a genocidal group that wishes to kill lots of Jews, is that something that you wish to stand up against right now?
What a stupid question. Never again 1945 or never again today? Never naturally, you idiot, means never. It's not gonna happen again. So yeah, that's what the slogan stands for. And now you're gonna listen to what Elon's gonna say to him. He actually ruins his script. Check this out.
Somewhat mitigated, or people may have had more information. Or been able to, certainly been able to escape earlier. I mean, one of the things that's astonishing, obviously, in the history of the Holocaust is how many Jews, because they were only getting partial information, it was slow and it was gradual, and by the time they wanted to get out, it was just too late for them to get out. What are your hopes that never again is a real thing?
I mean, I certainly hope there's not a Holocaust.
How realistically is it?
I think it's unlikely, frankly. So at least if you say like, I mean, I could be naive, but I think the probability of a Holocaust in the West is extremely tiny.
True.
I think if you look at, say, the Nazis, I think Hitler got like a third of the vote or something like that when he was he was sort of semi-elected, and then
So he ruined the narrative for him. Because he's always trying to show that there's a scare, that there's rising anti-Semitism, there's gonna be a second Holocaust. I just showed you the cabinet members, and they're into everything in the West. They control so much. And it's not just them. There's a Christian Zionist as well. But it's one power. They're serving the same secretive groups. These devil worshippers that are destroying the world. They are serving the same people. They work for the same powers. So let's stop kidding ourselves. It's not gonna happen, a Holocaust. You know what's the biggest risk? Who's a victim also in the Middle East? The Israelis. The Jews that have been forcefully deported from Europe to Palestine. And they've set up for them circumstances in which they are at a high risk of such a thing happening to them because of all the bad stuff they did over there. If we go back to October the 7th. You remember what we said in the previous video. October the 7th, Hamas goes in. There were very specific objectives, and they finish most of them successfully. After that, irregulars, as in people of Gaza, angry people. By the way, Gaza used to be much larger, and through time they just kept eating away from it. So most of the farms that are now full of the kibbutzim that Ben Shapiro keeps talking about, these kibbutzim are actually lands of the Gazans. And they started going there, and lots of them have revengeful spirits. So if any atrocities happened, yes, most of these people got their hands on guns, or they were hiding some, and they went in and they extracted revenge killings. It's very possible. It's very plausible. I won't deny that. We need to make a deeper investigation, but it's very possible that that happened. However, what do you expect of such people after all the stuff we are witnessing? And this is just now. Imagine it's been happening since 1917. What do you expect of them? Let's stop kidding ourselves. The interview now is finally ended. It's been very funny and sad at the same time. In Arabic, we call it al-mudhik al-mubki, the funny that makes you cry. And now, to add insult to injury, Elon Musk gets ceremonially emasculated. Let's watch how, again, they bring that stupid rocket souvenir and they take a photo with them.
Thank you very much, Elon. Thank you, Ben, for the very, very interesting interview. Thank you for the questions and thank you for the answers. I would like now, please, to call the 10th President of the State of Israel, Reuven Rivlin, and Dr. Joël Merguet, the President of the Consistoire of Paris, for...
Yeah, a bunch of guys come. Okay. Here he tells him, you've been a good boy. Very proud of you. Don't repeat it again. Don't repeat it. I left one testicle.
Dr. Joël Merguet, the President of the Consistoire of France.
One next time.
We'll take, please, a picture before we move on with the program. Yeah, please do.
No,
okay.
Wow. You see how small the rocket is? This is a fragment, probably of a Qassam rocket. This is what's been terrorizing them and scaring them. But rockets that barely fit in a room, falling on children, this is not never again. This is every day. It's okay. It's okay, they're just Palestinians. You know, their lives aren't worth much, yeah? It's okay. Shame on each one of you. All of you, your day is coming. And then don't cry. When the shit hits the fan, don't cry. There will be no time to repent. So finally, I would like to send a message to anyone watching whom still has doubts or still has sympathies for the Israeli side. Time is running out. Regardless of the outcome of this current war, we see where the trend is going. The Zionist narrative crumbling day by day. Their troops have zero morale. It's faltering. They are resorting to very nasty tactics. They are asking for help from the whole world. Yemen now is getting bombed by the US, UK, and the coalition, including traitor Arab countries. Please find it in your heart, at least, to try to view things from a different perspective. Start doing more research. Talk to more people. Arabs, Palestinians, people involved in this, people who know a lot about this. Just take a moment to think that maybe my whole life I've been lied to about this. And it's time to seek the truth. Save your ass while there's still time. Because what is going on in the region, and in Palestine more specifically, is building a huge time bomb. And again, I say, when the shit hits the fan, don't go crying. Because it's gonna be very hard to find mercy. Just go and see what's going on, and you'll understand what I'm saying. Thank you guys for watching, and see you soon on another episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.